Good day everyone, how are you all doing? This is Yix here, Ab Magna Crypto, back again with another video. So in today's video, I'm just going to be looking at the market. Obviously, there's been a lot of crazy price action, especially with Bitcoin and even XRP, Ethereum are following suit. So what next? What should we do now going forward? And what should our mentality be going forward? So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So if you have been sleeping under a rock for the last 24 to 48 hours, then you would have missed the absolute crazy explosion of price out of this. Now it's quite clear, a symmetrical triangle, and we've smashed 20k in the last 2 days, and then gone even further and extended to 23,777. Now, for those that have obviously been in the space for the last few years, this was inevitable, but to actually see it being realized is obviously always a nice feeling. And as well, I put this in my Telegram group, but congratulations to absolutely everyone who has been hodling throughout these 3 years when everyone had lost faith in the space. It definitely wasn't easy. All the pullbacks, the massive gains, just the bear market, to actually have the mentality and persistence to continue on is no easy feat. So, put your glass up and give yourself a pat on the back for that. But now going forward, what should we expect? Now, this is when you have to have the big evens in mind. So that's, when price discovery, it tends to hit big even numbers. You're talking about 5, 10, 20, 25, 50, 100. These are the big even numbers that you have to have in mind. So now we have hit 23,777, but the next big even is around 25,000, and then 27.5, and then to 30. Now, we weren't even expecting Bitcoin to smash all-time highs this year, but it has, and it's already gone to 23,000. So if it continues, then the next level would be 25, and then the next 27.5. Now, it can obviously pull back, or it can continue. So we need to just remain calm. Obviously, not get fearful when the pullback comes, if it does in the next week or so. But just to remain calm, take a step back, and just observe the market, see where it goes. So as I said, those are the targets I'm looking for next, and then obviously we're looking for the next kind of turnaround. But for now, just enjoy the ride and let it continue. Also, XRP in the last 24 hours was a massive spike from 42 cents all the way to 57. So that was like a 15% increase. I'm still a bit wary by XRP because obviously the rest of the market is now on the back of Bitcoin. So XRP is obviously following suit with that, same as Ethereum. So I did mention in my private Telegram group that this was forming an ascending triangle, and it has broken out of that, as you can see. The next thing I'd be looking for is a retest perhaps of this resistance line. Obviously the rest of the market hasn't exploded quite as aggressively as Bitcoin, so that makes me believe that perhaps either we're going to see a much bigger explosion down the line, or we're going to see a retest or a breakdown below this. But I mean, Bitcoin is taking the limelight. It's absolutely taking the limelight for the whole market, so there's no point focusing on the other cryptos. Let's look at some of the news. And as well, understandably, you're starting to see these super bullish claims of obviously these price targets. Whether that's going to happen or not, obviously we don't know, hopefully. But you can see that the bullish claims, those high targets, start to come out in these times. So it's always good to keep this in mind going forward when Bitcoin goes to even higher heights. Because before the previous bull run, just before the crash, you would hear things like 100,000, 1 million, etc., 500,000, whatever. And these things come out when, the market is in a state of euphoria. Obviously, we haven't even got close to that yet, but it's always good to be wary when the news gets to this level. Now we have BBC News talking about Bitcoin, obviously smashing all-time highs. And the funny thing is, it's already old news because Bitcoin got to 23,700. So this is how fast the market moves. And obviously it's going to continue to go like this. You're going to see massive increases and decreases going forward now that we have entered this new realm. You've got the likes of Yahoo Finance obviously talking about it. Every big news organization will be talking about it. And I want to look at the Bitcoin rainbow price chart as well. This is one of my favorite charts because it is colorful and just, it's got that kind of comical annotations with it. Is this a bubble, etc., etc. But it's also based with some accuracy, because obviously the higher we get, the more we get to that crazy bubble territory, and the more you have to detach from the greed and start to sell more aggressively. Now at the moment we are at 23,000, so it's still quite cheap. Even up to the point of 30,000, it's still a good level. But that's when we have to start worrying. That's when we move away from kind of a conservative target towards the absolute unknown. Is it going to carry on? All these theories around Bitcoin going to 1,500,000 could be true, but it could also not be true. So you want to start taking profits a little bit more aggressively when you start to get to these levels, 30, 40, 50k. I know I will anyway, because there's always going to be a chance, and this is the greed talking, there's always going to be a chance of much higher levels, but there's also a chance of, that being it. So for me, that's when I start taking more profits. And just to finish off with Plan B, a very popular, well-known crypto Twitter personality, most popular for his stock to flow model. And a couple of his tweets were quite interesting, especially this one, which he tweeted an hour ago. And that's regarding the theory of diminishing returns. Every time Bitcoin went through its halving, the amount of returns seemed to have decreased every time. And so this theory of the next halving, or the one we just went past, would have been a lot less. And you can see already the red line, which is from May 2020, the halving, until now. We've actually gone in between the first and the second halving. So it seems to be disproving this theory so far. And that's the key part, so far. It could very easily plateau and just go below that. But it will most likely follow a similar trend. I would still be on the side of diminishing returns. It just makes more sense. But also you've got this interview from Guggenheim. I think he's CIO of Guggenheim Global. And he's talking about this bullish claim of 400,000 for Bitcoin, and that's based on scarcity. The fact that there's only 21 million Bitcoin, that there will only be 21 million in existence. And here you go, more institutional statements, messages from institutions saying that they're going into Bitcoin. We've been waiting for this, we've been expecting this, and it's happening more and more this year especially. So here you have hedge fund that expect to hold about $1 billion in Bitcoin and Ether by early next year. This is the most interesting macro trade I've ever seen in my career. You're seeing this more and more, and this is going to keep accelerating, and this is what is going to push us eventually to absolutely new territory, the moon, Mars, you name it. You have Edward Snowden, one word, Bitcoin. Everyone is talking about Bitcoin. And the thing is, obviously Bitcoin will not take everything. It's going to spread. The capital is going to spread because Bitcoin is just does one thing, store of value. You go to like XRP, Ethereum, all these other cryptocurrencies are going to take a piece of this pie. So right now, I'm going to end this video here, but the message that I want to just pass on, if you didn't know already, is just to huddle on, stay calm, take a step back, observe the market. There's going to be massive pumps and there's going to be massive dumps going forward. But it's this time when we have to practice more emotional discipline, It only just happened in the last 24 hours, but this is what we've been preparing for the last 3 years, these moments. So it's now time to execute the plan. Keep your targets in mind. Where do you want to, exit? Is it 30k, 40k, 50k? Do that for all your cryptocurrencies. Where do you want to exit? How much do you want to take out? And how much do you want to leave in the market going forward? Because you never know where it's going to go. It might stop at 50 and pull back. You might take all your profits, but what if it continues to 100k? That's why you need to have a suicide bag and make sure you keep some in the market for that time. There's been many tweets of people who own like thousands of Bitcoin and they sold at $3 because they thought it was overvalued. Looking at them now, if they had actually held some, maybe 20%, then they wouldn't be so angry with themselves. So that's very important as well. So I hope you got some value from that, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.